All right, so what I wanted to talk about kind of goes for seasoned coaches as well as newer coaches, and that is how to talk to your warm market and your cold market. So just to kind of give you an idea of what your warm market actually entails, because I think sometimes we get a little bit hiccuped on warm versus cold, but I think your warm market is obviously the people you already know and the people that you're reconnecting with. But I think it also extends beyond that. So as you are adding new friends, if you're adding a friend that is a mutual friend with somebody else, even if you don't personally know them, they already kind of have a trust relationship with you because they accept your friend request. They see that you're friends with friends that they're friends with. Or they've seen you in a group or whatever, and they add you as a friend. I think that qualifies as a little bit more in your warmer market, meaning you don't necessarily need to work on building that trust with them. Obviously, you need to build trust with people, but that kind of goes by your credibility is already there because they know who you are a little bit, or at least they know who your friends are. I hope I'm making sense of that. One thing to help that I do, and this is a really good idea to do wherever you are, is I exported all of my Facebook friends list to some other list that I could print out. I know that some of us are using Team Z right now, and I actually recommend that. It's free for 30 days, so you could export your whole Facebook friends list into there and cover your whole Facebook friends in 30 days, and then you can cancel if you want or whatever. But the idea is, I was recently talking to my sponsor coach, Brigitte, and we were talking about how to find those, those golden nugget coaches that we all really, really want. And she made the comment, which I thought was interesting because I've been doing this for like 3 years. All of my warm market knows what I do. I feel like anyway. I thought they did. And she said, chances are your golden nuggets are people that you already know right now. Even though you've been inviting people, even though you've been trying to get out there and expand your network, it's still people that are even in your tight-knit warm market that are still waiting for you to follow up with, ask again, encourage, ask for the first time. I think we all have friends that we purposely skip over. We're like, I know, I just can't ask that person. They're going to think I'm crazy, or that person clearly already knows what I do. They're not reaching out to me. I don't want to make that relationship awkward. We're just friends for this specific reason, so I don't want to jeopardize that. But chances are your golden nugget is somewhere in that pool, that area. And so how to talk to your warm market is simple. This is the easiest part. Hey, how are you? Question mark. As far as those people that you're friends with, but you're not necessarily hangout friends or you see everyday friends, that's when you can take it a little bit more. You can be like, I see that you're up to such and such. How's that going for you? How's that working for you? I'm friends with a lot of people that homeschool, and I get really nervous for some reason asking other homeschooling moms about the business opportunity, about joining me in a challenge group, and I don't know why. I've stereotyped them all into this group of they don't want to pay money for anything. They are focused on just their family. It's so dumb. I homeschool. It's so stupid. And yours won't be homeschooling. It'll be something else. But something else, you're in this group with these amazing women or amazing people, and you're nervous about asking them about it. And I can tell you right now, some of the people that I have astounded, the majority of the people that are in my next challenge group all come from a little co-op that I've been part of that I finally was like, enough is enough. I'm just going to ask. I'm just going to hit the send button and send it. And it's okay to cringe when you hit the send button. It's okay to be like, oh my gosh, they might say no, send it out there. But just send it anyway. Those are the invites that actually really, truly will matter to you. So, Michelle, were you raising your hand? Take it away.
So when you're reaching out to your warm market, hey, how are you? What do you do if they don't respond back? do you follow up? That's yes, there you go.
So what do I do after I roll my eyes? Like, really? No, I'm just kidding. It's kind of crummy that our warm market, when people in our warm market ignore us, I feel like it's kind of rude of them. But I also, at the same time, do you know how many people that I accidentally ignore? Like, I see a message and I don't respond, or my kids check my phone and then I don't realize I have 2 new text messages from somebody waiting to hear back from me on something. Or you read it and you're like, I need to respond to that person, but I need to be at my computer where I can type out my answer. So one, I try to give them the benefit of the doubt. And so I do follow up with them. Usually it's more in the form of going onto their page itself and liking and commenting and interacting with them that way first, just so it's not solely, I'm just messaging you because I want something. It's like, I'm messaging you because I am genuinely interested in what I'm talking to you about. And I am always genuinely interested, you know. Like I always say, we wouldn't message people and invite them to this if we didn't care about them. So it's never, for me, it's never like a salesy tactic. It is simply, everybody could benefit from this. So
after you've interacted on their page, what's your next message that you say? Because you can't say, hey, how are you again, because that looks dumb.
No, so then I actually lead in with an actual invite. Like, hey, I'm putting this group together. And that's when I try to have some sort of date set. So that's when I'm like, hey, I am putting together this challenge group. I just know you would rock it with me. It's totally cool if you're not interested, but if you are, I would love to save a spot for you. What do you think? And end with a question again. So that's, and then if they ignore that, fine. And some people do ignore me and I still see them at soccer practice and am chatting it up with them, and they'll even talk about how they want to be involved in workouts. And I'm like, did they not read my invite twice to them about this? And so then all you can do is just keep on loving them. You really can't, you don't want to pester. I personally feel like you don't want to pester anything beyond that. But I don't check them off my list. They're still on the list. And by the time you go through all of your Facebook friends, if you really did take it alphabetically, let's say, and you went through every single one and went back to them, enough time will have gone by that it's fine. And even if you're not private messaging that person, if I have 3 messages to somebody and they've never responded to me, I don't send them another message. I just interact with them on Facebook and call it a day. And that's it. Unless they like or comment on something that has to do with Beachbody, like a free challenge or something like that, then I'll send it to them. Does that make sense? Okay. I'm trying to think of what else with the warm market. I just feel like when I look at what I struggle with and when I look at what some of my coaches are struggling with, I think that it's actually having the courage and the guts to just send out the invite. So it's now we've all invited the people that are closest to us. Now it's about inviting beyond that, but still within your warm market. So just getting the courage to actually invite every single person on your Facebook list, unless they're coaches, of course, already. And if you can do that, I think you'd be surprised. I've been really, really surprised at who has responded and who hasn't responded. But it really, truly is those ones that you're really terrified to send that are like, well, what is it? What is it all about? Sometimes the most intimidating people can be your rock star coaches. So, and if it means anything, I messaged Kim like a dozen times, and she sat on those messages for like 6 months. And you know, if it means anything, I was terrified to invite Danielle to be a coach, even though she worked out with me every day, because I didn't know if she was, you know, how she was going to react. And, you know, those are 2 of my, you know, star diamond coaches now. So it's just about, and, you know, to give Danielle credit, she kind of was like the one that finally approached me. So I learned a lesson there. Okay. And the lesson is just do it. Just do it. Even if you're nervous, you know, I didn't want my relationship with my workout buddy to be weird, you know, and that's why I didn't have the guts to do that, which is so stupid. Okay, Danielle and I talk about it all the time. How stupid that was of me. I'm trying to think what else. So go through your Facebook friends, and for newer coaches, and if as seasoned coaches, if you haven't done this in a while, it's a good idea to redo this. I know that Deidre is like a maniac at this, and that is going to your friends. So as you're going through your Facebook friends list, I usually go to their profile anyway, so you might as well jump on and see who their friends are. And if you have a handful of mutual friends with some of their friends, just send them a friend request. And that's when they'll usually add you back, because they'll see that you're mutual friends with a small group, and then you can just dive right in. And if you're already posting on your wall and people kind of already have an idea of what you're doing, when they add you, you can be like, hey, thanks for the ad. It's great to get to know you more. I would love to hear your health and fitness goals. Like, just be bold. Just like be right out there, that there's no sneakiness to it. Did you have something else, Michelle?
I did. I was talking to another coach, and I can't she said that when she gets an ad, or when somebody accepts her friend request, she gets an email, and in that email it says the mutual friends that she has. So that's how she's been doing it. She gets these emails, and then she goes and she clicks on those mutual friends. How do you get that email? Is anybody getting that email? I've looked in my settings, I've YouTubed, I've Googled, and I can't find it. And she said it was just doing it. So she didn't really do anything. It just happened. So if anybody knows or finds out, please share, because
So maybe it's a notification. So she gets an email notification that Facebook
that's an actual email.
Accepted.
Yeah. So she gets an email from Facebook saying that so and so accepted her friend request, and then she just goes and she clicks on the mutual friends right from there. So she's building her friends like super fast, and she said it's super easy and which makes it great, because then she doesn't have to go look and see who has accepted her friend request. She gets the email, and then she knows exactly who to reach out to.
Yeah, that's interesting. I wonder if it is just a matter of somehow turning on the right notification on Facebook.
I've looked, and I can't. I don't necessarily see one that says that, but I've searched my settings, and it's not on her like page. It is on her personal. It's a personal page setting, and so I can't find it. So if anybody finds it or is getting those emails or something, share.
One thing I do is similar to that. I didn't know you could get an email, but I go into recently added into my friends, and then everyone who's been added in the last few days, or it says the date, I click on them, and then as I send them my initial email, I always go into their friends list and say people you may know, and anyone I have 5+ friends in common, I friend all of them every time, and then I add them to a new friends list every time I add someone. So I'm just in this routine. So then I'm separating it out by quarters so that I don't get overwhelmed. So I have a 2016 second quarter friend group, and everyone I'm friending through this next quarter, I'm adding into that group so that I can make sure I'm going to their pages. But that's kind of the same concept, just without email.
So Danielle, are you like just making a paper list, writing their names down, or are you doing like a group on Facebook and specifically going into that like list?
Both. I have a paper list just because I'm a pen and paper person. So I have a list where anybody I friend, or anyone who has accepted my friend request. I don't keep track of the people that I request from. I wait till they accept my request. So if they accept my request, their name goes down on this paper, and I send them my initial email, my little message to them. And as I send them that message, at the same time, I go into their friends. I look who we have in common, friend every girl. I don't friend any of the guys that are 5+ friends in common with. And then I see if they respond to me. And if they respond back to me, then I highlight their name, because then I figure, okay, now I have a connection with them. And those are the people I typically spend my time with. So it's kind of the same concept. The only difference is, rather than getting an email, you just have to go into your friend list, basically, instead.
I like your system, Danielle.
Then I do add them to that group, my second quarter friends, so that they're all in one spot. So anyone who accepts my friend request goes into that group.
So how often are you guys dumping or getting rid of your outstanding friend requests so you don't get blocked from adding?
I don't think I've been blocked yet from adding, and I'm not very good at deleting. I sometimes, every once in a while, like once a year or twice a year, but I'm probably not adding as much as other people. Danielle, have you ever been blocked from adding anybody?
No.
I think as long as they're mutual friends with you, I think you can have plenty of requests.
Yeah, as long as you have mutual friends, you're fine. And that's something else that I think is that's made a big difference for me is I only do people that I'm mutual friends with. And I've reworded my initial email. So when I kind of kept it more towards, hey, what's your health and fitness goals? I got nobody. I mean, if I were like, hi, thanks for adding me. I'd love to get to know you. I'm into fitness. What are your health and fitness goals? I got nobody. People would just ignore me. But when I changed my verbiage to say, hey, I noticed we have a lot of common friends. I tried to figure out where our connection is. Say, I'd really like to get to know you. What do you enjoy doing? My things are family, health and fitness, and photography. What do you like? And if I kind of sandwich it into other interests of mine, I have a lot of people respond back. And a lot of them hit on those three things. They'll say, oh, well, I'm really into this, and this. I wish fitness was my thing. I get that a lot. Or I love fitness and I'm a part of the gym. Or almost everyone touches on that topic. Surprisingly, who does reply back. So it kind of opens the door for conversation. But I found that sandwiching it in between other interests has made a huge difference in the replies.
I love that.
It takes some of the pressure off, I think.
I think you're right. I think it's so true. They don't feel like they're just being targeted or bombarded or ready. Sometimes they're not even ready to have that conversation yet. I like that, Danielle. Thank you for sharing that. Anybody else have anything that they do with their warm market or when they add in new people with their friends? No? Okay. Oh, Angel had to cut out early, she said. Okay, well, so moving past, I don't know, how many of you guys are dealing with a cold market? So like adding from ads or people are coming to you.
I would kind of consider a cold market even people with common friends because you don't really know them. And
so I was trying to decide before this call what I considered warm and cold. And I feel like that's like almost a gray area because it is cold in that you still need to kind of connect with them on a person-to-person level, but you do already have some credibility and some trust because you have mutual friends. Like if somebody adds me and I always look at, you know how Facebook tells you who your friends are with each other. I'm like, okay, is this person somebody I genuinely want to be friends with on Facebook? Somebody that I, what's their credibility like? Oh, well, they're friends with 5 of my other friends that all homeschool. So they must be, worthwhile to add as a friend. I don't know. So it's kind of a gray area, which I love what you said already, your message, which could kind of apply to that gray area and any actual cold leads. So like people that click on, if you're promoting your like page, that click on that and you reach out to. Do you kind of use the same message, Danielle,
Honestly, I haven't utilized my like page at all. So at this point, I'm still just adding people that have common friends.
Yeah, and that's good. That shows that you can seriously build your network all on your personal page.
It's hard though, because I'm getting to the point now where a lot of our mutual friends are people that I don't really know. They're just people I have friend to friend. And so when I click on their names and I see people, I'm like, well, I know I friended them because they're friends with so-and-so and so-and-so, but I don't know these particular people. So I'm starting to get out of that, and I'm going to have to start doing something.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's tricky. The fun of expanding our networks.
I have tips on that too when you're ready.
No, you can share. I'm pretty much done with what I was with my my spill. So we're all about adding right now and talking to people. So let's hear it. Love it.
So I have been listening to a lot of Michael Hyatt lately, and a lot of Shailene Johnson, just through doing the VBA Academy. And I feel like I finally have a good system. I haven't got to the point where I'm ready to implement it yet because I need time to prepare it. But I feel like all of them who have built any kind of platform online, they say the best way to do it is by creating a freemium first thing. So that's what I'm working on now, is trying to get a freemium together. And that's probably the biggest time consuming part. If I was willing to spend $200 or $300, he suggested going to like 99 design or something, and people can bid for your work and you can pay them to create it for you. I'm not ready. I'm not sure.
And then do you give them the content, or do they also find the content, or you just give them the content and they make it pretty? Or
yes.
Okay.
You give them the content, they make it pretty and make it design and flow. So I haven't decided if I want to do that or not. But and then after you get your freemium, they talk about you should not, he calls it, you shouldn't be building your house on rented space. In other words, you shouldn't be building your huge platform on Facebook or Instagram, because you don't own them and they can change it at any time. So he suggests obviously a blog or some kind of website thing, which you can get for free too, but it's your space that no one can take down. And then to everything you offer or anything you're talking about, you always direct them back to your freemium. That's your home base. That's where you want everyone to go. And then have them opt in, obviously, for the email list. So you can start gathering emails. Now, one thing I noticed with emails is two things. When I opted into Michael Hyatt's email just to see what he did, I really liked how he gave, I usually hate getting all those emails. They drive me nuts and I won't open them most of the time. But with his, he had it titled really well, where in the title, I could see that it was something I wanted to learn about. And he sent me, like, for the first 3 days that he sent emails, and they were all just tips for growing your business or whatever. They were all adding value type emails and just really pointing to good resources to use, lots of tips. And I actually was looking forward to getting one and opening it up. That doesn't happen very often. So I thought, okay, what is he doing differently that I need to take note of? The other thing, and he never talked about what he was trying to ultimately get to, which he is, but he never talks about that. And like for weeks, he just constantly is sending you stuff to add to help you. And then as you add more, then obviously eventually he talks about his online platform university. That's where he ends up making it. But he had so much value at that point with just tips and tricks and ideas, and most of the time it was just his blog post. So he was able to utilize his blog post to then send out to people and say, hey, this might help you. And then I also somehow opted into Janelle Summers' email, and it was interesting because all of hers was basically a quote off of Pinterest and, hey, how's your week going, kind of thing. That's it. But she sent one every Tuesday, and I was thinking I probably would want to do something more than just that, but she's got a huge business and that's what she's doing. So anyway,
I love that.
That's what I'm going to start doing, is get my freemium in place, get my blog in place, and then start having people pointing everyone to the freemium and gather emails, and then just start pouring value, anything I can possibly can, into those emails. I'm not even really going to bring up challenge groups maybe once a month. Just try to really send out things that would be beneficial and helpful for people in their health and fitness or nutrition, or even just in personal development.
Yeah.
A lot of people aren't exposed to personal development, and they don't get a whole lot of exposure to that. I know I didn't. So just pouring into that, and then you have your own audience, and then of course use your Facebook is just a way to validate who you are.
I really like everything that you just said. I especially like that you were saying that Michael Hyatt often reuses his blog posts and everything. And I think back about, how many people really see, your day-to-day posts on Facebook? That's why we have to post so often, is because not a lot of people do. You could literally go back, the last 6 months and pull content off of there that you've already written out, that you've already done, even have photos with it, and put it in some sort of, weekly or bi-weekly or monthly or something email that you could be sending people just to add value to them. And that would probably help too. In fact, I'm pretty sure definitely would help with the free leads that we get from Beachbody. If they were automatically maybe lumped in to what you're sending out anyway, I don't know. Just a thought.
You have to be careful when you're adding people to automated email lists, is that they opt into it. Just because you're given their email address doesn't mean you can add them to it. You have to ask their permission to be put in it. So
ask your free leads.
Yeah, you can just offer. You can send them an email saying, "Hey, I would love to send you, some free recipes. Click here to download them." And then when they click there, that link leads them to your freemium, and then they're opting in.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're doing this, you have to make sure that you're using like MailChimp or something like that, so that they have the option to unsubscribe. Because if not, it's completely illegal, and you can, get in trouble. I'm running that, with my vinyl business and stuff too. So yes, want to do a freemium. What are you doing, Danielle? Have you figured that out yet?
It's hard because it seems like everyone does the same thing. And Annie and I were trying to brainstorm some good ideas to make us different. Honestly, I am going to do a clean eating book, but I'm going to just do all my recipe cards that I've been posting. And I'm going to put in just little tips on how I get my kids to eat vegetables more. I have a few tips that work that, I get a lot of vegetables in my kids, even when they don't realize it. And, or things that I've learned that has gotten them to eat them. So I was going to put stuff like that in there, and then just simple switches, like rather get rid of the white salt for pink Himalayan salt. People don't know to make those small changes. So I was going to put some tips about those kinds of things in there. So it is going to be more of a clean eating type book, but we've thought about maybe a playlist. I don't know. Is there a way to create something that I would be interested in? Is I would love a good list of workout music that's free, royalty free, and free that I could use for my videos, because I don't want to go pay $1 for a song and use for 10 seconds on one of my workout video things. So a list of good upbeat music that you could use for your videos, I think I would totally opt into that, because I need something like that. I don't even know where to look, that are royalty free. Something like that would be a good freemium. I was thinking, what was the other thing? I'm not a good writer, but if you were a writer, you could easily write, some kind of daily inspirational or motivational thing and put it together for 30 days of motivation. I don't know. It's tricky. You have to figure out what niche, who you want to really market to, and figure out what those needs are.
Hey, Danielle. Hey, I missed what you said your premium was. Can you define that?
My premium?
Yeah, what is a premium? I'm kind of getting a little bit confused.
A freemium is something that you basically offer for free to add value to people, and it's something that they would desire to have enough to give you their email. So basically you want to give them something that they're willing to give you their email address for. So then you can collect all the emails, and then you can start building a following through that.
Yeah, and one example too of a freemium, and I don't know if she actually made it a freemium, but it would be a good idea, is one time on Missy Reber's like page, she did a series of different workouts targeting different body parts, like a glutes and legs and something else. And so she did these series of videos on there, and then I noticed that when you go to her blog, she has those in a series there. So you could strategically think about what you were posting, that month, and just building your freemium, but also posting as you're going. Does that make sense? So if you were going to do a series of videos about something, you could, hold on to, have a purpose in mind. So all of hers were very theme based, and it was very cohesive. So something like that.
I kind of wonder though if we should be thinking outside the box.
I do too.
To attract people who are fitness and health, but I feel like everyone does clean eating, everyone does workout videos. What can set us apart in that? And that's something that I'm struggling with.
Well, I wonder, for someone like you, Danielle, a freemium of photography tips, or being a mom taking pictures of her kids or something, how to take better pictures of your kids, a series on, I don't know.
That, man, that is a huge
yeah,
huge undertaking.
I mean, it is a lot. I've thought about lots of different things. It could be, I don't know, summer. Summer is approaching, indoor activities that you could do with your family or kids. A summer survival type series, or
idea. Or what about activities to do with to entertain your kids during the summer months?
Mm-hmm.
Out of school.
I mean, really, then you can be. This is so dual purpose. You can duplicate yourself, because you could be writing these things on your blog or on your Facebook, and you can also be sticking these in a freemium. I like that idea. I definitely like the idea of expanding outside of fitness and nutrition. It's about finding people that are like you. So think about what you're passionate in. It could be a series on getting out of debt. It could be a series on how to organize your house. Think about what even think about our free challenges that we run. I have 5 ideas right now on free challenges. I'm like, you could literally stick what you're doing for your free challenges, and 2 of mine have nothing to do with fitness or health. One of them's about organizing, which, obviously you can tell by the background of my computer screen, is something that I struggle with all the time. So it could be something that you are already helping people with, and then transfer it over. The reason why sometimes health and fitness works for people for example, Missy Reber, is because that is kind of her thing. That is her groove, and people do find her because they want their body to look like hers. It just depends. But I think at the end of the day, if it's not something that you're passionate about and it won't come through that way, then it won't. It might not get much traction anyway. You want your voice to be the voice, and that means it's got to be something that you care about.
Right.
I don't know. Hopefully that helps. Hopefully that doesn't add more work to everybody. Everybody's probably like, crap.
I know. I feel like if we just front load it though and get it, if we can really get that organized and once you create it, it's done.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to do it again. You have a well-oiled machine that can just start working. So it is a lot of work up front, but once you get it all set up, then you just constantly repeat that.
Mm-hmm.
So, one thing Scotty Hobbs does for his, I don't think he actually has a freemium, but he uses his videos a lot to add value to people. So maybe that's another thing, is make a series of videos that will inspire somebody, or hack ideas, ways I don't even know, life hacks or something. I don't know, something that makes people feel good about them, feel good or something. I don't.
Right. Well, it's true. It's true though. If people have little and you're giving them little tidbits at a time, and if they can take on that, and they build, that's how they trust you. They're using what you're giving them. Yeah. It just naturally leads into the next thing. I definitely like that. I like, just like a mommy survival course, and just little tips and tricks on how to be a good mom, which is, definitely a lot of our target audiences, and you can get very specific and whatnot.
Look at some of your favorite blogs that you like to follow and see what they offer. Maybe that will give an idea outside of workout videos and eating challenges.
Yeah. I mean, and I will say this though, like, I know for you, Danielle, you have such great content when it comes to nutrition. Like, you have a very good way of reading labels, and a lot of the times, a lot of people don't know that. And so even if you had a clean eating group and you feel like it's just like everybody else's, yours could be tailored very specifically to helping people read labels, helping people understand what kind of beef to buy, helping, like, you can get super specific because you have that passion and that knowledge base. Like, I would be like, I'm opting into that, so so you can even, get even more specific with nutrition. It doesn't have to be super broad and generic,
True.
Anyway, does anyone have any last thoughts? We're gonna be closing down the call, but
I think we should all sing happy birthday to Amber today. Everyone unmute themselves.
Oh, wow, that's
see,
unnecessary.
Eric, you should be the singer.
Sorry, Hannah's yelling.
Oh, Hannah can sing too. That's fine.
Ready? Happy birthday to you. You guys gotta do it with me.
I appreciate it, Danielle. You're so sweet.
Happy birthday to you. I can't hear her.
I can't hear anybody else either. It's okay.
Ready? Let's go, Hannah. You ready to sing, Lydia? Ready? Go. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to